What's going on, Battlefielders? I've got a special loadout for you today. Now, throughout this series, a loadout based on the new movie Lone Survivor featuring Mark Wahlberg, Ben Foster amongst many others was widely requested, and I finally got around to seeing this movie myself, and it definitely lived up to expectations. I really enjoyed Ben Foster's role as Charlie Prince in 3:10 to Yuma, so it was really great to see him play another fantastic role in Lone Survivor. So we're going to use the movie Lone Survivor as a base for our loadout, which is a dramatisation of the occurrences of Operation Red Wings, which was a reconnaissance mission that unfortunately went wrong in the mountains of Afghanistan. So to fit in with the theme of this loadout, we're going to go with the recon kit, and I've actually labelled the difficulty of this one as hard. As we'll talk about throughout this setup video, the weapons and the attachments that we need to use don't exactly make for a very competitive loadout. So we're kicking off with this loadout. Let's take a look at those weapon selections we need to run for a Lone Survivor setup. Now, there's a couple of weapons featured prominently in this movie. We've got the M4 carbines, which are used by a couple of the SEALs, alongside the Mark 12 rifles, which are used by the two main characters, Marcus Luttrell and Matthew Axelson. We don't have the Mark 12s in Battlefield 4, but we do have the Mark 11 Mod 0, which is a very similar weapon based on the same platform. The main difference being is it's a larger caliber than what's used in the Mark 12. It's a real shame that there aren't any long-range optics available for the DMRs in Battlefield 4. We do need quite a long-range optic to match what's used in the movie, but the maximum we've got in Battlefield 4 is up to 4 times magnification, so we'll just have to borrow from the setup of those M4s and run the ACOG sight. We can match the rest of the accessories used on those movie rifles though, first of all with the laser sight, followed by the suppressor, and then finally the bipod. I talked about how I labelled this loadout as being hard difficulty, and the use of that suppressor and the bipod is really what takes away from this weapon's performance. Even though the suppressor does keep you off the radar, I found that it absolutely destroyed this weapon's accuracy. These weapons only have around a 500 meter per second muzzle velocity anyway, so that suppressor is going to reduce that even further, resulting in you needing to lead your targets much more and account for that bullet drop, which doesn't help when this weapon needs multiple shots to kill. Then it's a similar story with the bipod too. This attachment doesn't really offer us any benefits. Usually with a traditional sniper rifle, the bipod can come in handy to line up those long range shots. But in the case of the DMRs, you're going to need multiple hits to take someone out, so some kind of underbarrel grip would be a much better option. But as we all know, this loadout series is all about having some fun, playing around with some fun setups and doing a bit of role playing. And this setup overall does match the movie loadout pretty well. Another weapon that we do see featured in the movie is the M9 or the Beretta 92 FS, which is a little bit unusual because the SEALs in real life would have probably used the 6-hour P226, but for some reason the Beretta's used in the movie, and there's one prominent feature where Ben Foster's character Axe is using it in his last stand against those Taliban soldiers. Just like most of these real life or movie themed loadouts, the sidearm doesn't need accessorizing at all, so we're just going to leave the standard iron sights, equip no accessory and leave the standard barrel. There's a few more equipment selections we can use to finish off this Lone Survivor setup. First of all, we've got the radio beacon gadget from the recon kit, which kind of makes reference to the comms that didn't work for the SEALs and what resulted in this terrible situation. Then one of the pieces of equipment that we see used in the movie that we do have in Battlefield 4 is the smoke grenades that the SEALs use to try and offer some cover to retreat, even if that meant tumbling down the side of a mountain. With the story in the movie being based on a group of Tier 1 operators, the Spec Ops field upgrade is a perfect match. Then the spray desert camouflage option for the weapon is yet again the bonus item of choice for this loadout. If you've managed to unlock this thing from a battle pack, it'll make our Mark 11 rifles look just as awesome as those Mark 12s in the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie already, then I definitely recommend checking it out and giving this setup a try in Battlefield 4. If you do have some fun with this setup, or if you just enjoyed my video, or if you're a fan of the Lone Survivor movie, then I'd really appreciate a thumbs up just to help my video out with some more exposure. Don't forget you can always see more of these movie themed loadouts by checking out the link in the description to the full playlist, where you'll find all the episodes that I've posted all conveniently listed. While you're in there, you'll also find my links to Twitter and Facebook so you can get sneak peeks on what kind of setups I'm working on next. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll catch you all later.